Have you ever wondered what happens to the feedback that you give to your teachers at university? Does it go into a big black hole? We're supposed to look at it, and it can be a really sometimes positive, sometimes negative, sometimes a mixed bag of emotions. Hi, my name is Amanda. I'm an academic at the University of Technology, Sydney. I've been there for over 2 decades. I'm an associate professor. I do usually love to teach audit, but I currently teach first year introductory accounting, and I've been teaching for quite a long time. But feedback day always makes me nervous. I'm a bit excited as well because I want to see what students thought of how we change things and my teaching and the teaching of my team. So here is my reactions to reading my feedback from spring 2023. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll chat to you soon.
All right. On the day that students get their results, academics also get preliminary information about teaching and learning, and that includes our SFS scores. So I'm here inside the SFS, and I can't see what's in the tutorials. Those are my individual tutors. They get to see them first before I get to see them. But here we can see the workshops, and I just had a Wednesday daytime and a Wednesday evening for this semester. I think these ones here are previous ones. So I'm going to click into the report and see what it says. So this is the type of report that we get. It talks about learning opportunities. So 70% of students strongly agreed that the learning opportunities help them meet the objectives of the subject. 2 students disagreed and 2 students were neutral. So this is a score out of 5. So I'm pretty stoked. Anytime you're over 4, you should be pretty happy, especially when you have a large subject. I didn't get very many responses either. This is why it's really important to fill out your feedback survey. Did they make the most of their learning? Most people agreed. At least nobody disagreed. So I guess, hopefully that's happy. Look at this. Overall, I'm satisfied with the quality of the subject, 4.72. 2 students strongly disagreed. So I'm keen to find out what they didn't like about the subject. 2 students were neutral. Did they receive constructive feedback? And we give feedback through the tutorials like weekly problems. You get automated feedback in quizzes. You have all these activities with feedback. And then when you have your written reflection, we give you typed feedback in the rubric. And then in the final exam, actually, those students wouldn't have known this when they did this survey. We give them lots of feedback about the final exam in our subjects. So I'm pretty happy that students thought that the feedback was good. Everybody felt welcomed. Yay. That, I reckon, is a lot due to the business mentors. So thank you to Ken and the whole team of mentors that we have. And did mentors have a positive impact on their learning? 4.5 out of 5. Yay. 4 students didn't think it did, but the majority of students did. And overall, students are pretty happy. 4.78. I'm not sure I've had such a high score in quite a while. And then we get the feedback comments. This is where sometimes I get both very excited and very nervous, because the liking part is the good part. But the part that I want to go down to is the suggestions. So I'd suggest an online forum of the workshops, as I believe this would increase attendance. Workshops are online already, so I'm not sure. We didn't get a lot of good online attendance, but I'm not sure. I would improve the assignment structure regarding reflections. It wasn't relevant to learning accounting and a bit of a nothing assignment. That's interesting because this assignment is not really about learning accounting. It's more about understanding how accounting fits into your career path, if it does, and also learning about yourself so that you can become a better uni student. Maybe I need to clearly articulate that a bit more. More valuable workshops. The mental health session was a waste of time. Okay, well, we're not doing that next year. I've sort of taken on board the feedback. I do like the weekly support services. The writing workshops were helpful. Group activities were good prep for the tutorials. The random facts. Incorporate more real life examples and real company examples. Okay, I can do that. Lots of it's good. Amanda wasn't there every week. as Deputy Associate Dean Education, I have a lot of responsibilities. One of the weeks I had oh no, that was last semester, so there wasn't an appendix. I'm pretty sure one week my kids were sick, and another week I was overseas. So I'm sorry I can't be there every week. That sometimes does happen. Sometimes the workshops are a bit simplistic. I feel they could have been better used to focus on learning material from the start. This is interesting. So we don't actually give lectures to disseminate material. I can't actually content dump material on you on a workshop because that's not the UTS model of learning. The model of learning for the whole university and the business school is meant to be that I give you fundamentals in the guided content I create for you online. I'm not actually allowed to do that in the workshop, so I might have to better articulate that. Cut down the workshops to be shorter. Okay, well, they're 1.5 hours now. Can't change them to be 1 hour next year, but I'll workshop that. I think the requirements for the reflection assessment can be improved by removing or limiting the section about feelings. Okay, and they didn't think that was necessary for accounting. It would be better as an activity during the workshops or tutorials. All right, I'll think about that. The reason that's in there, just as a bit of piece of feedback, is because we know that learning is an emotional process, and if you ignore, all the research tells us that if you ignore the emotional aspect of learning and you don't talk about that and you don't understand that, then you can struggle and be in a bit of denial as a learner. So maybe I need to talk about that a bit more clearly. Oh, here's one. I very much appreciate when students take time. I thoroughly enjoyed this course. The length of tutorials were too short. Okay. I had to make a trade-off here. We have smaller tutorials to help you get better acclimatized to university. But with smaller tutorials, I couldn't run the tutorials at 1.5 hours because I went to a smaller number of students, which meant that the number of tutorials I have increases. So I had to do a bit of a relevant costing analysis and a cost benefit. Maybe the lectures are a bit long. Okay, all right. Okay. No hate towards me, that's okay. I totally, I know that if I could, I'd have 1.5 hour shoots with only 25 students, but I have to work within a budget that I'm given. Sometimes there wasn't enough time to discuss the questions and they would rush. Okay, all right. I will try and figure out what a good solution is here towards that. I can't increase the length of the tutorial. I don't want to make the question too much shorter because it needs to be detailed enough. I will try and figure out something. Okay. And the mentors. The mentors were extremely helpful. Some thought they were minimally assistive, but the tutor was exceptional. They were nice people. They were approachable. They were helpful during the activities. They shared their ideas. Oh, hello to this person. Come and say hi to me. I'm very glad to be helping all students. Oh, students think I'm funny. That's good because my kids don't think I'm funny. They were able to give their first-hand experience. They helped navigate problems. Mentors. Oh, shout out to James and Ashan. So the mentors also help make sure that the tutor isn't stretched. They were not always helpful or responsible. They ignored my requests and questions. Oh, that's a shame. If that person wants to let me know who their mentor is, I can help provide that mentor with some anonymous feedback. So that was the daytime class. And this is the weird thing about this. I'll have to move my head so I can close this. Is that was the day class. And this is the evening. Oh, hang on. Am I looking at the evening workshop? Yes. Evening workshop. I'll put my head back up here. Didn't get many responses in this one. You can see here 15 responses out of about 150 people that were enrolled. So I know that there's, the statistics aren't great because I don't have a big sample size. So the scores are a little bit lower, probably because less students participated. But a lot of the people who went to the online workshop didn't think that they got constructive feedback. So maybe I need to do better at clarifying how you get feedback. Not many comments here. I do care about students. That's good. I'm glad that comes through. I think some of the tutorials were difficult to complete in the time frame. Okay, all right. And to add more content into the workshops, and less from the mentors. Okay, maybe I'll figure out a better balance there. Okay, and it was great to see how the mentors, it was good to have a different perspective, they're approachable. So, we do our best. Mentors are students and they're learning just like you. So sometimes if you have a more experienced mentor, that can make a bit of a difference. But thank you for providing your feedback. So that was pretty good. This could be a really tough time for academics to look at their feedback and take on, especially the comments of room for improvement. What we do, I feel, is very personal. I put my heart and soul into this. So sometimes when we find things don't work, it can be a little bit soul crushing, but we have to pick ourselves back up and then look to next semester. I'll take this back to my team of tutors. I'll talk to the mentors about the mentor comments as well as the general comments, and then figure out how can I make changes to next year for the things that I can change. I can't change the class length of time, but I could maybe figure out how the classes work a little bit differently, the tutes and the workshops, incorporate more real world examples. So I'll see if I can find more of those real things that we can bring in. I've got some ideas for some real life case studies that we can do next term, as well with some different partners that we're starting to develop. So I want to thank every single student who completed the feedback. I know not many students did, and you tend to get either the students that really loved it or the students that really hated it. But thank you very much for your feedback. We really appreciate it. I'm going to go away and have some thoughts and some thinking now. I'm also going to check in on my colleagues to see if they got some tough feedback. How are they feeling? Do they need support? But thank you. And now begins the hard work of, improving that upward spiral of improvement. That's my whole philosophy of approach to teaching is we start somewhere and then each semester we try and make it a little bit better and a little bit better. So I want to thank you. To all my students, have a great break. And I look forward to, hearing what you're up to and getting your feedback and other things and interacting with you online.